Mulibwanji. Welcome back to the BeOfficial podcast. I'm your host, your guy, Paul837, and I brought my co-host, Director D, is in the house. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us on a very beautiful episode about success. And this is an episode that you guys are going to love because these are the uncut conversations. So without further ado, let's roll into the intro. Director D.
Yes.
How do you deal with people only supporting you when you have achieved mainstream success?
That's a good question. It's tough when people seem to support you only after you've achieved mainstream success, and often at the times that one can feel unappreciated and mostly end up questioning the authenticity of those relationships. But one of the things that I can highlight, the first one would be acknowledging those feelings, because you might feel a certain way, whether and how do people only seem to show up when they want something to take from you. And often at the times you get to question, like I said earlier, you get to question the authenticity of the relationships, because the time you were working on your success, they were not there, and then the time that you've fully achieved the mainstream success, or they just show up out of nowhere. So you get to question that, and many of the times you feel a certain type of way. So genuinely acknowledging those feelings and not suppressing them is one of them. Secondly, I can say focusing on genuine support. I think that's important. Identifying the people that truly cherished and believed in you when you were from the ground, because always having a genuine support system is important. And sometimes you may not have a lot of that, but when succeeding, appreciating the people that have been there with you from the jump is really important. So identifying the genuine support is really, really important. The other thing I can mention is staying grounded. I think this is one of the good ones, because it often reminds you of the hard work that you put in when you started. Often at the times we forget what that felt like when we achieved the success, but it's often good to remember the good old days, when you are putting in the work, the late nights, the overtime, the sleepless nights, remembering all of that. I think even when you've achieved your epitome of success, remembering those helps you grounded when you remember the old days. So that's also important. The other one, I would say setting boundaries. I think this highlights the authenticity of the relationships that you have, separating the ones that were with you from inception and the ones that you meet after the mainstream success. So setting the boundaries lets you not confuse the two, because like, these are my day ones, and these are people that I've met after I've achieved the success. So setting the boundaries for the two and how you relate with them helps you set the tone and the precedence for where you move and navigate through your success journey. The other thing I would say, practicing gratitude. Practicing gratitude is often important because it helps you be appreciative of every step of your journey that you've navigated through until you achieved your mainstream success. So every step of the way is a stepping stone to where you're going. So the simplest analogy is the staircase. At every step you take, going up the staircase is a reminder of you to celebrate every step that you make. So reflecting on gratitude is really important. And lastly, I would say staying true to yourself, being authentic in your success journey, highlighting who you are is pretty important, because often at the times that mainstream success can and does really change certain people, because you'd find our values, our principles start to change as we achieve success. But then staying true to who you are is really important. And I think people resonate mostly with that because they understand that as humble as this person was while they were starting their success journey, even as they have achieved the climax of their mainstream success, they have not changed. They still stuck to who truly they were as a person. So reminding yourself to stay humble even when you have achieved that is really important, because many are the times that when we achieve mainstream success, there are certain things that we feel we need to prove to certain people. We feel like there's certain way we need to talk down on other people, look down on other people and whatnot. But then the humbleness comes in when you remind yourself of what it took you to get to where you are, and what it is to stay true to your values, to your principles, and to your vision as a person. So yeah, I think these are the few things that I can highlight on that. Mr. 837.
Yes, sir.
What are some strategies for building a supportive community that values your growth and progress?
That's a very good question. And I really love that, because somehow I feel it gets, or I have a certain type of experience, because let's say it really took me a while for me to like have an audience that will gravitate with you, even in the things that you tend to love, because I feel having a supportive community is very cardinal, whatever you're trying to do in your community, with your brand, company, that kind of stuff. You need a community that will rally with you through thick and thin. But doesn't mean you need to be doing stupid stuff, because some other people are just there just to see your fall, right? But having a community that will rally with you, even at the end of it, was very important. So I have some pointers. The first thing is defining your values and vision. It's very important, even whatever you're starting, whatever you're trying to do with yourself, with your brand, your company, whatever. It's very important to set values and goals that will be a definition factor of how you're going to present yourself, even in the next stages of your community. Because when you have these things with you first, it's very easy even for the people to follow you, because now they know where you're going, right? Then they understand the type of person that you are, they understand the things that you bring on the table, and they see how you're moving. You're not just moving recklessly. They know that this person has a vision and they are heading towards somewhere, right? So it's very important to be at a place where all these things are very set and they're very clear. The other part is authentic engagement. Being a place in a space where you are engaging with the community like really, really, really authentically, because certain things that I've seen, let me even give it a shout out to Priscilla. She hit me on my page asking me like, why have you been quiet, right? So this shows that I communicate with these people like authentically, right? I'm just me, like I would be speaking to them even if I met them. So she noticed that I haven't been online for these past 2-3 weeks, so she noticed that and she was asking me, and I love that, because they tend to see and tell you and be in a place where, it's rather intriguing when they see something different, right? Because now they notice I wasn't posting, so she noticed and said, let me try to drop, because I posted something, then she dropped me that question. So authentic engagement is very important. The other highlight is that provide value. Be in a space where you're providing the best of value, right, to your community, your followers, your fans, whoever you're trying to lead, right? Be in a space where whatever you're providing them has value, because by the end of the day, what's the reason? Why should I follow you? Why should they follow me? You know, so tell stories that are authentic, write songs that are authentic, create movies that are authentic. Be in a space where all these things are giving value to the person that is watching. So provide authentic value. Provide value that's really going to be beneficial to the community that you're trying to lead. The other part is create a safe space. You know, I've created a safe space on my page where we discuss a lot of things, man, from depression, from diaries of a broken man, you know, all these things are these are things that I have tried to create because trust me, nobody's perfect, man. We've all gone through certain things in life, and we all just want to find a space where we can express ourselves. So for me, creating a space where we don't judge each other, you know, we spit and talk, and we are just there trying to be our authentic selves, because if I share what's in my diary, in the books that I write, the stories that I tell, the songs that I tell, I know it will really help somebody. So I remember I shared a post on my page saying, how do you battle depression? That's something very deep, right? And some certain people want like be in a space where they're able to share what they need to share, but it was so nice to see people share the things that they had to, how they battle depression on a daily basis. So yeah. The other point is encourage participation. I think this is something I'm trying to do even on my page, like trying to encourage people, like asking me Q&As, you know, and by the end of the day, be in a space where they are also, you know, in a place where they can contribute to what the things that we would want to do on our like providing certain different types of content that they also learn to love, and by the end of the day, that will lead to them being a space where they are contributing and participating. Then the last point is be consistent. This is one thing we're trying, but Zesco is really doing us bad, you know, and it's crazy. But by the end of the day, we're trying by all means to keeping a constant schedule where at least we give you, whenever we get the time to do what we do, we give you the best, and we give you an episode, you know. So yeah, be in a place where you're consistent and you're fulfilling your promises, because these are things that are going to help you out in building a supportive community that you desire and you'd want. Be a good leader too. Yeah. Director D.
Yes.
How do you prioritize mastery and skill building in a world that often prioritizes personal branding?
That's a good interesting question. I think I'm for both. I would say I support both. I think finding the balance between mastering the skill set and personal branding, balancing the two is really cardinal. And looking at today's society where we at, it's not only valuable when you have a personal brand, but it's also what skill set do you have. Often at the times people are questioned is, what do you bring to the table, you know? So I think I would highlight that balancing the two. Number one, I would say first is defining your goals, where as a person you get to question yourself, understanding to say you're going to set specific and tangible goals to, if number one, we're looking at skill set, is what kind of skill sets do I want to acquire, and the skill sets that I'm trying to acquire, how do they help my personal brand? So it's oftenly balancing the two, because you cannot only have one thing that's working and the other is not. Why do I say so? It's like I was earlier reminded by a poet to say, often at the times, I think in today's society, you would find there are people that are famous and, you do not even know the reason why they are famous. You know what I mean? I think most of you would understand that question is we have certain people that are famous, and then you ask yourself like, this person is famous, but for what? You know what I mean? So it's like, yes, they're famous, they're popular, but what else do they have, or what else do they do besides that? You know? But then there are certain people that we quite understand why they're famous, why they're popular, you know what I mean? Because they have a personal brand and they have skill sets. An example I can give is Vusi Tembeswayo. Vusi Tembeswayo is famous. And what do we know him for? Is one of the best public speakers we have in the world, you get? So, but then there are other people that are just famous, and then what they're famous for does not, make sense. Or it's just like, but then at the end of the day, it's balancing the two, skill set and personal branding. Yeah. So like I earlier said, number one, define your goals. The second one I would say is create a learning plan. I think one of the things I love about, I'm more in tune with learning skills. I love to learn new things, and I always want to attach the new things that I'm learning to the things that I'm passionate about. So, for example, I would highlight that I'm a content creator, and through content creating, what skills am I learning that are going to help make my content creating easy? So number one, I'm learning how to edit. So you have to learn how to edit. You have to learn how to operate a camera. You have to learn how to color grade. You have to learn how to know what kind of shots you're gonna take. You have to learn. So the personal branding is good when you're creating content, but then the skill set is trying to highlight what skills do I learn that are gonna help make the process of me creating content easier. So skill set is learning how to make the process of content creating easy, which is gonna help the the personal brand. So I hope it makes sense. You get, so skill set, learning the process, helping build the personal brand easier. So the other one I'm gonna highlight is, like I said, create a learning plan. So it's what are you gonna learn, specifying what skill sets, what kind of skills you're gonna acquire through the process that's gonna help build your personal brand better, so that when people look at you, they know what you're doing. It's like being known for what you're doing. The other thing I must say is embrace the process, because everything that you're gonna learn in either building a skill set or personal brand takes time and effort. So knowing not to quit, because often at the times people tend to quit when things get hard, but it's understanding and embracing the entire journey of the learning process, that even when things get hard, you do not give up. You keep reminding yourself of why you started and what you're trying to build, from the skill set and on forth to building a personal brand. The other one I'm gonna say is seeking mentorship. I think it's often we need to appreciate the people that have gone before us. Often at the times we think we can do it on our own, but understanding that there are people's shoulders that we need to stand on. So seeking people that can help you through the journey, that have done this prior you. But also one thing I want to highlight is understanding that if the path to success was a one-way road, then all of us would be successful. But understanding that the path to success is not a one-way road. So what might have worked for your mentor may not work for you, but it's picking the lessons that help him succeed and seeing how they might help you as you move on your journey, because we're taking different path to success. My journey is different from my mentor's journey, but it's taking the lessons that are going to help me succeed easier. So if it took 20 years for my mentor to succeed and me learning from him as a mentee, that should take me way less time because he's been there before. He knows what the land looks like. So me as a mentee, the whole purpose of me learning is trying to make the journey easier for me. So if it took him 20, that means it needs to take me less than that. So having a mentee, and lastly, I would say staying curious. I love things that I don't understand. I love to learn from things that have failed. So often are the times that I'm more curious to learn and know why this didn't work. So if I tried something and it didn't work, then I'm prone to go back and learning why did this not work. So always having a curiosity mindset, to want to learn things, to want to navigate, to want to question the things that you often told are normal, but then saying, if everybody's doing this, then why are they doing it? Because often at the times we don't ask questions, and we have been told not to ask questions. But I think having the curious mind to want to know why things work a certain way is always kept me in check and always on a learning path. So I think these are the things I'm going to highlight on this matter. Yeah. Mr. 87.
Yes, sir.
What are some ways to stay motivated and focused on your goals when others ain't supporting you?
It's very crucial, to be honest. It's very, very crucial. And I remember moments and times when you would post something and it had zero traction. I remember there were days when you would release a song and you had literally zero streams, you know. I remember there were days when you would release a video and nobody even watched it, you know. So it can be crucial, but the goal shouldn't be about the views, right? So those things shouldn't matter in the first place. The things like external validation shouldn't matter the most. What needs to matter the most is internal validation. So being in a space where you validate yourself, like, bruh, I'm dope as crazy, you know? So it's very important staying cardinal and implementing all these things where you validate yourself first, you know, and put yourself on all the time, despite whatever that is happening. Just do things that you would want to watch. Create stuff that you'd want to watch. Create songs that you want to listen. Create movies that you'd want to watch, you know, do content that you'd want to watch. So it's very important to set some internal validations within yourself first. So number one, these are the pointers I brought for you. So number one, set clear and achievable goals. It's very important to be in a space where you break down your long-term goals and your short-term goals. What do I want to achieve? Okay, I want to grow my page to 10,000 followers. I want to grow my page to 1,000 followers. So what can I do? You know, so being in a space where now you start to break down what you need to do is, okay, then I need to, if let's say, given a case where I'm more familiar, like an artist, right? Then you need to be consistent with how you release your songs. I remember that those back in the day, I used to release songs like a year later, 6 months, after 3 months, after 4 months, but now it's like, have you seen the level of, like how frequent content is being flooded on the internet? It's a lot. So there's statistic on Spotify for artists, right, where every day it's about 1 million songs that are being released every day. Now imagine in a month how many songs have been released. So it's a lot of songs being released every day, and you're releasing songs after 6 months. Don't you think your audience will forget about you? Don't you think it will take time for you to catch on, you know? Because, you know, what happens is every time you're trying to do things on a constant basis, you're learning again, right? You're learning how to do things faster. You're learning how to do things even better. You're learning how to master your skills and all those things, you know? So it's very important being in a space where you set clear goals. The other point is Create a vision board. Make sure that you put stuff that you want to see in the next 5 years, in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years, in the next 10 years, So be very clear, have a vision board, put the things that you want to achieve, the things that you tend to see even in the next years to come. Things that are going to be in a space where they align with your purpose. Don't just write things for the sake of writing them, man. Write things that are going to align with your purpose. Things that will scare you, because I feel a dream, if the goals that you put don't scare you, then what's the whole point? You feel me? It needs to be kind of crazy. It's only crazy until it's done, So yeah, so create a vision board, develop a routine. It's very important developing a routine. Something I'm also trying to implement on a daily, because sometimes I do slack. So developing a routine on how you're going to be doing things, okay, cool. What are you doing this week? What are you doing next week? What are you doing today? All these things are very, very important, so that you create some sort of habit for you to achieve whatever you want to achieve. So create a routine. The other point is stay positive and practice self-compassion. I feel sometimes we're very hard on ourselves, and we keep on hitting ourselves with a lot of things where we are just not good to ourselves. We'd rather be good to the next person than ourselves. We're very hard. We're judgmental. We speak ill. We speak a lot of negative things upon ourselves. Practice some self-love. Self-love, very important. So be in a space where you're giving yourself some love. Have grace with yourself. Have grace. Some people, it takes them 2 years to achieve what they need to achieve. God bless them. That's the grace. Some people, it takes 10 years to achieve things, to achieve certain things. So we all have different timelines. So you can't compare your timeline to somebody else. You gotta just keep on working and have the consistency and the persistence, and by the end of the day, the faith. The other point is celebrate your successes. It's very important to be in a space where you're celebrating the things that you attend, the things that you're doing, the things, even no matter how small it is, celebrate it. I never used to post. I remember I never used to post about, because I was like, who celebrates 1,000 streams, man? My friends are doing 1 million streams. My friends are doing 100,000 streams. I'm like, who celebrates 1,000? But now I'm like, even 200 streams, I just post screenshots of everything now. I just post them because I don't want to take for granted the people who are streaming the music, because that's very important. And I'm really, really grateful to each and every individual that just shows up for me and commenting and the liking, it really means a lot, So celebrating your success is very, very important, no matter how small it is. The milestones mark a very significant thing in your life. The last part is focus on your why. It's very easy to lose it nowadays because there's a lot that's happening. Probably if I see, Dr. D is doing fine, I've heard Dr. D makes a lot of money with what he does. Then I change and start doing what Dr. D does. He's been graced enough to handle whatever stress that comes with the things that he does, right? For me, it will be very hard because I've never been built for that. It's just the same as a fridge trying to act like a stove. It wasn't built for the heat, man. It was built for the cold, right? So I need to be in a space where I understand and just get the tools. I try to learn from what Dr. D is doing, and I try to implement them in whatever purpose that God has blessed upon my life. So understanding why you started is very important, because along the way, you will meet a lot of people who are doing great in the field that they're in, and you'll be envious and say, I need to stop. But imagine if the moment you stopped, you're almost having a breakthrough in your purpose. There's a visual I've seen on Facebook, or should be on social media, right? I don't know what platform, but where somebody was they're watering their plant, right? One of the person watering their plants, it's grown way up, right? But the roots are not that much deep. Then this one, the plant has grown, but not that much, but the roots are deeper, right? Then he's looking at the friend being envious, how I wish my plant was looking like that. But not knowing that what they have is even more sustainable and it will grow for a lifetime because the roots are deeper, and it can't be removed by wind or anything else, right? So sometimes we just don't know what we have until we lose it. So being in a space where you are really appreciative of the gifts and whatever that you have, and understand the reason why you started what you started, and just keep on going. Don't stop. Keep on going. So yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us today on the BeOfficial podcast. I've been your host, Director D, with my co-host, Pain 837, trying to drop some nuggets to you guys about how you can navigate mainstream success. We hope and trust that you learned one or two things, and we hope that you join us again next week on the BeOfficial podcast. You can show us some love and support that you've continuously showed on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok, all at BeOfficial podcast. Join us next week. From me and the rest of the team, peace out.